Hey everybody, it's Angelo and welcome to Early Access Podcast, episode 95. I think, pretty sure it's 95. Yes, it is. It is 95. It says so in my show notes. Hope everybody has had a good weekend. I know I have. Hopefully you all have been doing what I've been doing, which is going to be the bulk of what I talk about today, which is The Division Beta. The Division is the next Tom Clancy game. It comes out March 8th, and it's an open-ish world RPG. It's a third-person shooter that's kind of like a open-world RPG. I say kinda because we haven't been able to play much of it just because of the open beta status. So what is this? RPG basics. So we really don't know much about the Division yet, aside from what we were able to play. So we weren't actually able to play too much because let me see if we can get some pictures up here for people to watch the videos. So there's a lot to like about the beta. Let me see if I click on any of these videos if the audio plays through. I don't want to have to mute every single thing. Yeah, I'll just mute that while it plays. So the Division so far is, in my opinion, it's awesome. I think it's doing some really cool things. So basically, you're a special agent. You're part of the Division. You're basically immune to this disease that has been, that has taken over. It's an outbreak. Kills everybody, blah blah blah. None of that's really important. So the game's broken up into two sections. There's part of Manhattan, and then there's like this dark zone in the middle of Manhattan. Everything outside of the dark zone is where you would essentially do all your missions and stuff. Some of the missions, from what I understand, will venture into the dark zone, but nothing in the beta. And what you would do is you would go into the dark zone to do all the PvP stuff, which is where I find that the game's going to be the most interesting. So basically, you can have parties of up to 4 people in the dark zone, and inside the dark zone is where you're going to find like the best loot and stuff like that. And what they did was they made a super interesting mechanic in the dark zone. Here, let me bring up my YouTube video for the for this because it's a little bit easier than anything else. So there we go. I'll put up my video because at least this way I took it. Plus, it'll be a little easier to talk over my video. So the way the dark zone works is it's a no man's land. Martial law has been declared. You can't really do anything in there without being flagged as bad. So you can run around, you can kill NPCs, you can collect loot, but if you shoot any other player, because it's PvP enabled, you get a rogue status, which is the mechanic that I think is the most interesting, because what it did was it basically solved a lot of the issues that some of the open world survival games have. So you get the problem with like DayZ and Rust and stuff like that, where you just get killed on sight. There's a lot of that, and don't get me wrong, there is a lot of that in this game. However, by making a rogue mechanic, what it does is if I shoot you enough times, I get flagged as rogue, which means anybody that's not a rogue can kill me without any ramifications. The higher your rogue status is, like, the more experience you lose and the more money you lose. And then the person that kills you also gets bonuses based on what level rogue you are. So it's a risk-reward thing. You get higher rewards if you kill enough people and survive through a timer, because every rank of rogue has a timer attached to it. And if you live through the entire timer, you get compensated as such, and then if anybody kills you, they also get compensated. So it's a risk-reward thing that actually works for this kind of game. The other thing that they did that's pretty awesome for this is that you can't play with lower level people. So in a game like DayZ or H1Z1, where you would be just playing, like if I was a new player and I jumped in, I could get killed on sight by anybody, and there's nothing I can do about it. At least in here, as of the beta, you're instanced into different zones with people of similar level. So it's the way it's broken up in this, which might not be perfect. It's levels 1 through 7, and then there's only 8 levels in this, so it's 8 and above. So I'm assuming as it goes up, it's going to grade out appropriately. So they do a couple things that are pretty awesome, and I was telling a friend, I think that The Division is just a couple mechanics away from being one of the best survival action games of recent time. All it needs is a food and water mechanic where you got to keep track of your food and water, and it's better than DayZ. You know, we don't know what the crafting is going to be like in this yet or anything like that, but it's basically a third-person shooter that has answered a lot of the questions and problems I've had with those kind of survival games and made it far more appealing, far more risk reward averse. It has RPG elements which give you some sense of character progression, which is something that those open world survival games don't do. So I think for all intents and purposes, The Division is a blend of all those things that I was talking about. I mean, if you go back and listen to my podcast about survival games, and I even wrote an article about what's wrong with survival games, this game is literally doing a lot of the things that I said would make the best survival game. And it's already got food and water in it, so it wouldn't be a stretch for them to make it matter, to give you a food and health water bar that you actually have to maintain. There's already containers across the world that they could populate with food and water. So, and they already do, but they can make it populate a little bit more if it's going to matter. But I just think this game's got a lot of promise, and we've only seen 4 of the skills. So this is without seeing any of the talent tree, any of the perk tree, any of the crafting stuff, and only 2 of the 6 dark zone zones, I guess, and only like 2 of the actual world zones out of like 20. And this is all that's just shown on the map in the beta. Who knows how big the game actually is, and it feels like a big game. It's very impressive. If you didn't get a chance to check it out, I did do like a quick look right before this podcast, before I recorded this, for just about 20 minutes, and I explain basically some of the same stuff, but I also explain some of the other mechanics of the game. You'll see some of the menus and exactly like how some of the stuff works. The one thing that I thought was kind of shitty throughout the beta was the fact that there was a couple of mechanics, like not mechanics, but glitches in the game that made for a few unfun sessions that I've had. So, like most betas, open world betas, they artificially blocked off part of the map. And the way they did that was there was an out of bounds portion of the map. They blocked it off as a big red wall. And if you went through it, it counted down 10 seconds, and then it would teleport you back to one of the safe zones. The problem is, you could go rogue, run off of the map, and then it would teleport you back to the safe zone with your rogue status and your timer, so you could just sit there and wait for your timer to run down. Clearly, this is going to be addressed before the game came out, but it did make for some shitty experiences because most of the red zones, the out of bounds, were near checkpoints where you would get in and out of the dark. Oh shit! I'm like pulling my headphones off. Where you would get out of the dark zone, in and out of the dark zone. So what would happen is people would, kill somebody right in front of the entrance as soon as you zoned in, and kill you, and then run off the map, and then teleport into the safe zone, hang out for a minute, lose the rogue status, and just troll you that way. I feel like once the game comes out, there might need to be a buffer around these entry zones to compensate for your load time, because sometimes you would load in and like you could already be getting murdered. But again, I never got killed immediately after leaving the door, but I have had experiences where I would leave and then like literally not even get past like the first truck, like not even a half a block, and somebody would be there and kill me. But yeah, The Division, very promising. It's an amazing looking game. It plays really well. It's capped at 30 frames per second. I'm pretty sure it's 1080. I'm playing it on the Xbox just because I know there's going to be hackers on the PC. As much as they want to say there's not, I just don't want to deal with that shit. So I'm not going to. But yeah, I would definitely recommend checking out The Division. You got a month or so till it comes out. Go check out the video. Give it a like if you enjoy it. I think it's a pretty decent video. It gives you a good rundown. It's pretty good gameplay. If you scroll to I think it's around like the 17-minute mark. If you watch there, I kill a couple people. Kill like 3 people actually on a rooftop after throwing a grenade, hoping it would hit them. It was pretty cool. So you can go check that out. It's a really fun game. I'm happy with the direction it's taking. Hopefully this little snippet really does continue forward with as much content as there is. It's like the third-person Destiny that we didn't know we wanted, and more. I think it's the survival game no one knew they wanted. So I'm excited for the future of The Division, and I will be picking that up on the 8th as soon as I pre-ordered it to play in the beta because I couldn't get my hands on a key because no one likes me. But yeah, that's all I've played as far as what I've played. I did grab a couple games though for you guys. This first one seems kind of neat. It's called Golf with Friends. 29 reviews, 93% positive, which is always great for an indie game. Especially an early access game. It's $6, but it's 10% off until the 5th of February, so you're going to have a few days to pick it up for $5.39. Now, this is a multiplayer mini golf game for up to 12 players, so it's a multiplayer game. It doesn't look like it is local multiplayer, which is awesome. And the maps look pretty cool. I like this kind of stuff. It's pretty simple, $5. I mean, if you're going to get 12 people to play with you, I guess it's not going to be all friends, but $5 is fine. I would like to see, like, again, like most of early access games that are multiplayer, a 4-pack for like $10 or something like that, or something to incentivize you to buy it, to give it around to your friends. I understand it's already relatively cheap, but make it cheaper for somebody that wants to buy it for multiple people. But it looks pretty cool. It's just like a mini golf game. But you get to play with a bunch of people, so there's nothing wrong with that. Alright, the next game is called Sword and Board. 3 ratings, 3 reviews, all positive. It is $4 in early access, and this looks pretty cool. It's a top-down action-adventure puzzle game. Let's see if we can get to like the actual gameplay. So it kind of reminds me of like a Bomberman, or if you ever played the game Grail, which was like a Zelda knockoff. So it's kind of like Zelda. And that's exactly what it looks like. It looks like a Zelda-type game, top-down RPG, puzzle adventure game. You're running around. It says you got to solve puzzles and unlock over 30 unique item combinations. It looks really adorable. The art style is nice. It's unique enough where it doesn't seem just like a clone of, of Zelda, but you can tell that it's basically the same vein as that. But it's got its own unique art style. It does. And as long as the puzzles aren't identical, I knew that was a thing whenever anybody would make a Grail level using basically the Zelda tile set. It was a lot of like similar puzzles and stuff like that. But this looks pretty cool. I would totally go check it out, especially at $4. It's really cheap. This is from Stuffed Castle Studios, so $4. I've seen worse looking games. But yeah, go check that out. So this game is called Perraw, FPS The Clone War Alpha. 23 reviews, 86% positive. It is 59 cents. So this is what looks like a not Unity, but it's the NVIDIA one. I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'm just drawing a blank today. So this is exactly what it is. It's just a early access first-person shooter. It says it takes place in a futuristic environment. Oh, it is Unity. Actually, I was right. And it looks like that. It's just a first-person shooter. You know, shitty graphics. Looks like it belongs on a Nintendo 64. Multiplayer. It's already got Steam trading cards, which I find fascinating. But as long as it's kind of fun, I have no problem with like just silly first-person shooters. It kind of reminds me of like Duke Nukem, or what the hell's the other one? Again, I'm drawing a blank. I'm not on my game. It's kind of late. I'm sure I'll remember it, and then I'll just kick myself in the ass later. But it looks kind of silly and fun. So yeah, go check that out for fucking 60 cents. You could do worse. And it seems like people are enjoying it enough. But, actually, let's see. Steamcharts.com. And it's called Perraw. I mean, it's got some people playing it. The all-time was 16. 12-hour peak. 12 people in the last 24 hours. 4 playing an hour ago. So there is some people playing it. So your 60 cents will not go in vain. I guess it really just does depend on the time of day. Alright, the last game I grabbed is called The Storm Guard. Darkness is coming. 3 reviews, all of them are positive. $19.99, a bit expensive in my opinion. But it's from Bitmen Studios, who also did nothing else listed on here. So this is a turn-based roguelike RPG. It says it's inspired by the Night's Watch in the Game of Thrones. So it's a 3D RPG. You're just every other RPG. The graphics look exactly like you'd expect, like an older RPG, like top-down style RPG. If you like turn-based games, I would check it out just to help support an indie developer. From what I see of the videos, like of the first look, like not the first look, but of the trailer, it does look pretty competent. The dragon looks pretty neat. I'm sure there's other dragons, but the one in the video looks pretty good. I don't know if these assets are pulled from Unity, or let's see, what does it say it's made with? Doesn't say. Let me say. We need you, Lord Commander. Yeah, it doesn't say. No, it doesn't say exactly what engine it's being made in, whether it's Unity or God, why can I not remember the other big free engine? God, it's gonna bug the shit out of me if I don't remember. Free game engine. Unity, no, it's not Unity. I know some. I'm not even gonna see it. I'm gonna remember Unreal. God damn it! How could I not remember that? It's either Unreal or Unity, but it doesn't say either one, so I'm assuming it's Unreal. But yeah, go check that out. Maybe $20 is a bit expensive, but it does look pretty cool. So yeah, check it out. Try to find videos of it, because the trailer, I'm sure, doesn't give it complete. Do it complete justice, whether positive or negative. So I would check that out, read the reviews. I'll get in touch with them. Maybe I'll get a copy of it. Who knows? But that's going to do it for this episode, guys. I want to thank you for listening. Thank you for checking out the show. Let's see, I got a few days left on earlyaccessmedia.com before I pull that stuff down. So if you want to go click through the Amazon banner while I redo all the websites and figure out exactly how I'm going to continue to go forward with that, yeah, go click through the Amazon banner, bookmark it. It does help out the show whenever you buy anything. Just make sure you use that link. If you have any questions, comments, want to set up an interview, want to submit your game for me to take a look at, it's earlyaccesspodcast@gmail.com. I think that's it. Early Access PC on Twitter, Early Access Podcast on YouTube. Yeah, that's going to do it for this episode, guys. It's Angelo with Early Access Podcast. And go check out The Division. Go watch the video on YouTube. And be awesome. I'll see you guys for the next episode. Peace.